जन्म का वरदान। उस स्मृति से दिन को बार बार याद करो। बाप दादा का वरदान है सफलता हर बच्चे के साथ है। क्योंकि बाप दादा साथ है तो सफलता सदा एक एक बच्चे के साथ है। सिर्फ उसको प्रैक्टिकल में लाना है ही सफलता स्वरूप। स्वरूपी सफलता। तो आज के दिन यही वरदान स्मृति में रखना कि सफलता हमारा जन्म सिद्ध अधिकार है। ये स्मृति असफलता की बात को भी सफल बना दे। तो आज के दिन को सदा सफलता स्वरूप हो। ये आज के दिन का बाप दादा का वरदान। सफलता मेरा जन्म सिद्ध अधिकार। ये सदा स्मृति में रख।
Om Shanti. Welcome to Avekti Parivar. Today's day 15. Pilgrimage of Silence. Touching and catching powers. Now we will listen to Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti, everyone. So every day we are accumulating power of silence because Baba says that each thought has to be so powerful, not only to help me into creating my stage, but Baba says in your activities, in your whatever task you're doing, it all depends on the quality of thought. One is, of course, power in the thought, but to have right thought at the right time. But thought is so connected with silence. You think and you can go in silence. Like, I think I'm a peaceful soul. I'm a loveful soul. So I go in silence. And then from that silence, I think what I have to do, what I have to decide. So as much power of silence increases, that much power in the thought increases. And when we start seeing the connection of silence and thought, and we are able to pay more attention on silence and also on thoughts. Because sometimes we have certain feelings or certain thoughts. And when we express, we forget that wherever I'm expressing, whether to a person or for a situation, it should not hurt anyone's feelings, but it could help other souls also to express the feelings. Because whatever feelings I say it, right? But should I speak like that? That means the thoughts are emerging there, no? So, experiment with go into silence for a minute and then think. So the power in your thoughts will not only work what Baba is saying thoughts should be doing, but also it will help me to go in silence. If thoughts are not very organized or very spiritual or loving, you cannot go in silence. Those thoughts will keep bothering you. You won't be able to stop them. It's like you are kind of regretting your own thinking. Because you have spoken that way, the way you said it. Everything is connected with the thought. So to integrate silence and power of thought, integrate silence and thought. That means when you, let's say you are thinking and you stop thinking, do you feel very peaceful? Do you feel that yes, you have power? Or you feel that when there are thoughts, after thinking, I am upset about something, regret about something. So if we really want just very, very pure thought, clear thoughts, beneficial thoughts, then silence is important. When we think of Baba, Shiv Baba, or even when I think of Brahma Baba, Shiv Baba is silence, right, all the time. So when he speaks knowledge, you can feel that power. So our thinking connected with silence, and when you speak from that thinking, others will experience silence. One is, of course, be in silence and create those vibrations of silence. Other is when you are speaking the words from the thoughts coming from silence, it will also create silence in atmosphere. There are many, many who give example. I had many questions. I went in front of Dadi Janki and I was taking drishti, and after that, Dadi said, "Do you want to say something? Do you want to ask something?" And she said, "I just forgot everything." So that was like Dadi's power of silence helped the soul to be in silence or to be free from all thoughts, questions, doubts. Many, many uh, Lokik people will come in front of Brahma Baba and they have so many questions to ask. Baba will sweetly say, "Child, sit." Uh, Baba always used to take few moments of silence before saying anything. Always. He will not look at someone and just start talking like we do. Right? But with Brahma Baba, he will go in silence and then he will speak. So these officers would have come for some inquiry. They will forget everything. They just go into that experience of peace and vibrations of love. So what silence is doing, increasing our capacity in the thought to create the vibrations. That's the power of vibrations. And it's a very good way because someone said, wants to say a lot. Right? Everyone had their own story to tell. And if you are in really deep silence, you will find that the vibrations of that silence will remove many of the thoughts in the mind of other one and will say things in very short and say, "That's all I have to say." But later on they will share, "Oh, I had so much to say. I thought I would just say this, but then I didn't feel like saying." So there are some who are asking, how do we really work? How this power of silence works? So one is it can help others also to experience silence. So their speed and the quantity of the thoughts can reduce. And it could also, if anyone's thoughts are weak thoughts, they're having doubts or they're having lack of uh, confidence or whatever weaknesses. So if I have silence and through thoughts, many, many will experience. Just we say few words, they get the power of faith, power of love. And it's a very beautiful way to do service or to have relationships. And that is why actually there is this tradition in Brahmin family. We always share drishti, then we say Om Shanti. So what is that drishti and Om Shanti? Silence, no? So when we saying drishti and Om Shanti, somewhere that speed of thought of other person also reduces and that person feels peace. and also feel silence and will say Om Shanti in silence. Mean what you would have given in your talk for half an hour. Your ability to give experience will keep increasing. Mean many say when they come to Baba's home anywhere, as soon as they enter Baba's home, I felt so good, I felt so peaceful, I feel so rested. Just the space, Baba's homes. Or even in your home, if you have a little corner or a room for Baba, when you go there, you experience peace, you experience love, and that's coming from the silence. So, more in our personality, more in our being, we observe silence before communicating. You will need to communicate 1/3 of what it would have been. And now, when we say touching and catching power, so when there is silence in your personality, or silence when you say something, other person will be touched by what you say. Because in those thoughts, there is some power of love, of peace, of belonging, uh, that the person you are talking or whatever you want to convey, whatever you want that person to do, it will happen. So try not to keep talking, keep saying, but say whatever you have to say. But before that, have silence. In silence, have few thoughts and speak those few thoughts. Even if it's a matter, in the sense of a situation or something, instead of intellect is full, mind is full with situation, and I keep saying, then this happened, then that happened, then this happened. We keep going on and on. But if I just be in silence, and also other person, anything we start, I always say, you starting a meeting or anything, we always say, let's say a few minutes of silence. And in that, lot of things get cleared, even before being spoken. Many people feel their mind is changing. They wanted to say something, but now they don't want to say much. Or some who didn't wanted to say, they feel like now I want to say, because I also have enthusiasm. So apply this power of silence in communication, in activity, as Baba said, and see the success, as Baba said today. And then power in your own thoughts, and the power which other souls receiving, and thoughts of other souls also become very pure, reformed. And this is what Baba had been saying, use power of silence in your thoughts, in your words. That means in silence, after silence, when you speak, when you think, it will be very powerful. There are so many words, so many things which touch our awareness, touch our consciousness, or touch our heart. when we read morely, like this morning I was reading, and every word of Baba was touching so deeply. Yes, I'm on pilgrimage of intellect and I'm going to land of immortality and other pilgrimages. They have to look at the season, but for us, no. So it's a silent journey, no? Journey of intellect or pilgrimage of intellect or journey of remembrance is silence. I'm claiming inheritance. I'm going home. So many points. I mean, I was so touched. And then also while reading, you feel Baba is giving directions. Children, now time to do this. Now is the time to think about home. Now is the time to think your own journey. So directions. Right? Everything in life to make sure it's right has to be based on Murli. Because that's Father, Teacher, Sadguru is saying. So even if you get thoughts, could be directions, but everything is based on Murli. Not suddenly you say, oh, I got touching to do something, which is not based on Murli. Like when Baba said that, give message to everyone, you have to serve the world. You know, thought could come in a way, what way? Like today we had, small meeting. And I said, actually, every center, every Baba's home, even children's home, can have a message or a blessing recorded because people are going through so much. How much you can help each person of their guilt and their sorrow and regrets about what they decided or they shouldn't have, and lot is coming up, right? So when they listen to that blessing, they can get power, comfort, clarity. So thought came this morning and I said, let's start with somewhere, some centers. Or so then they said, yes, one center is doing, but not like consistent. So instead of posting it, email, or if it's spoken and heard, has more impact on the soul. So we can say a thought came or a touching came, let's do this. And immediately we said it can be used on radio, some places it can be used on television, just very short, every day. Some places it might be very easy, small countries and small towns. Only what we have to prepare someone to record it or make a clip like if it has to be on video. But mostly it will be listening. But then thought is from Baba's Murli of service. I said we are so comfortable amongst ourselves, listening, be at home, but let's serve the world also. And if it's something, one of the important things they say, success of a Vyakti Parivar, that you all are consistent. Same with any service we do, if it's consistent, then people will, it will touch them. They want to listen every day, every day, every day. So immediately they will get some relief, but also more interest, more awakening can happen. So when we say sound, silence increases power of touching and catching. So heart is touched, awareness is touched. And when you are touched, your feelings like, then you remember that what you were touched. If you see something, it touches your heart. It could give happiness or it caused any sorrow or anything. You don't forget it, right? So how we are touched. That's why Baba said very nicely that if you don't want to feel sorrow, you have to forget the world of sorrow. Because anytime you want to hear something, there is a lot of sorrow. So naturally you will feel sorrow to that. So these are two abilities or capacities which I have to increase through power of silence. More you remain silent, more clear you are what you're feeling, what you want to do. Otherwise, it could be regular planning. Regular planning is different, but this is which you are touched and you want to do. You can do big jobs just because you were touched. For yagya, for service, for giving message to the world. And you will definitely be able to accomplish it. Right? So silence, few moments, whenever it's possible, or any stage in silence, create bodiless soul consciousness. Well, that helps us to increase the power in our thoughts, words, and also actions. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Welcome to Vyakti Journey, Mama's Murli, the image of purity with a heart of gold. मीठी प्यारी मम्मा ममतामयी जगदम्बा तुझे याद करे दुनिया तूने प्यार जो हमको दिया मीठी प्यारी मम्मा ममतामयी जगदम्बा।
सभी बातों को यथार्थ क्या है और यथार्थ हमारे जीवन के लिए क्या है, इन सब बातों की रोशनी बैठ कर के बात देते हैं। उसी को लेकर करके अपना पुरुषार्थ ऐसा रखने का है, बाकी इसमें कुछ मूंझने का नहीं है। अच्छा, कुछ सुनाना था शायद इस बच्ची को। अच्छा, गिरा पहले। अच्छा, हाँ, ये आप लोगों को इंग्लिश में समझाएंगी। देखो छोटी है, हाँ, और देखो बातें बड़ी सुनाएंगे। मुख छोटा बात बड़ी, हाँ, तो आप लोगों को बड़ी बड़ी बातें वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री एंड ज्योग्राफी समझाएंगे। ये क्वेश्चन करेगा। अच्छा, he has good kingdom form. He lives in incomparable world. He is blissful, knowledgeful, and peaceful. He creates three deities. They are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar. Through Sakti deity Brahma and human Brahma, God Shiva blesses knowledge, wisdom, divine love, virtue, and yoga of Gita fame, and bliss for establishing sovereignty of Satyugi world of complete purity, peace, and prosperity. That is Jivan Mukti. This is Vishnu. Through Sakti deity Vishnu, God Shiva sustains Satyugi and Tretayugi Jivan Mukti Diki worlds called heaven. Sri Lakshmi and Sri Narayan and Sri Sita and Sri Rama are the most prominent servants. This is Shankar. Through Saptagiti, Shankar God Shiva describes the Kalyugi religious unlawful world of many violent torrents called hell for destroying mukti. International and civil wars and natural calamities are the means. This is the kalpa of 5,000 years. There are 5 yugas in this kalpa. They are Satyug, Tretayug, Dwapar, Kalyug and Sangam. इशारा इधर करो, समझाओ उधर। हाँ, सामने देखती हो। हाँ, इधर इशारा कर करके दिखी साथियों। हाँ, ऐसा समझा। हाँ, चले। साइलेंस का मतलब अपने बेहद बाप को याद करो। आई एम सोल, सन ऑफ सुप्रीम सोल। ऐसा अपनी बुद्धि को हर वक्त, हम उस बाप की बच्चे हैं, ऐसा समझ के हर वक्त रहो और इस बॉडी से डिटैच। ऐसे समझो, काम करते हो तो भी ऐसे समझो मैं हाथों से लिखवाता हूँ। हाँ, लेकिन कौन? आत्मा। मैं इस ऑर्गन से बोलता हूँ। कौन? आत्मा। इस ऑर्गन से सुनता हूँ। कौन? आत्मा। तो हर वक्त सुनने के समय ऐसे समझो, आई एम सोल, इसे सुन रहा हूँ। आई एम सोल, इसे बोल रहा हूँ। आई एम सोल, इसे देख रहा हूँ। ये खिड़कियाँ है, खिड़कियाँ। हाँ, तो ऐसी अपनी हर वक्त काम करते भी अपने को आत्मा कॉन्शियस अथवा सोल कॉन्शियस और गॉड कॉन्शियस समझने से तो क्या है, हमसे कोई ऐसा बुरा कर्म नहीं होगा और इससे हम अच्छे बुरे कर्मों से भी बचे रहेंगे और फिर गॉड की याद भी रहने से और हमारा वो योग अग्नि से पाप भी दगद होंगे, तो डबल फायदा मिलेगा। ये प्रैक्टिस चाहिए। अभी ये जो सुनाया ना, इसकी प्रैक्टिस चाहिए। हर वक्त अपने को सोल कॉन्शियस और गॉड कॉन्शियस रख करके चलना। किस तरह से चलना? इसी तरह से देखो। ऐसा नहीं देखना नहीं, आंखें बंद करना है, देखो। परंतु देखते क्या देखो? ये भी सोल है, आई एम सोल, ये भी सोल। अभी इस खिड़कियों से हम किसको देखते हैं? भले देख रहे में ये बॉडी आती है, और तो हमारा ध्यान अटेंशन सोल के ऊपर है। ये भी सोल है, हम और ये एक ही बाप के बच्चे हैं। परंतु हाँ, इन बेचारे को पता नहीं है, अभी इसको पता देना है। अच्छा, पता है तो हाँ, ये भी भाई अभी बाप को जान कर करके अपना हक ले रहे हैं, हम भी उसे अपना हक ले रहे हैं। इसी तरीके से बुद्धि में ऐसा रहना चाहिए। इसको कहा जाएगा सोल कॉन्शियस। बाकी ऐसे नहीं है कि एकदम मन को कंट्रोल, जैसे कल बतला दो कहीं बैठकर बिजाय हक से करते हैं, वो चीजें नहीं। ये हमको ज्ञान सहत, तो इसको कर्म करते भी हम सोल कॉन्शियस। तो ऐसे अपने बुद्धि को रखने का है। बायोग्राफी को समझ गए हो ना? परमात्मा का ऑक्यूपेशन, परमात्मा की बायोग्राफी क्या है, देवताओं की क्या है। तो मनुष्य देवता हो सकता है, मनुष्य परमात्मा नहीं हो सकता। तो ये समझना है। इसीलिए ऐसे नहीं, हमको कोशिश रखने की है मनुष्य से देवता बनने की। देवता का मतलब ही है क्वालिफाइड। कौन सी क्वालिफिकेशन से श्रेष्ठ है? सर्व गुण संपन्न, 16 कला संपूर्ण, संपूर्ण निर्विकारी। इसलिए हमें कोशिश वो करने की जिसमें आत्मा भी प्योर, शरीर भी प्योर। बाकी वो तो एवर प्योर है, वो तो गॉड इज वन। तो हमको कोशिश कौन सी करनी है, क्या बनना है, वो एम एंड ऑब्जेक्ट का नॉलेज होना चाहिए ना। ये सभी समझने की बातें, जिसको समझ कर करके अपना कोशिश अथवा अपना पुरुषार्थ ऐसा रखने। अच्छा, आप लोगों का टाइम होता है, हम तो बैठे हैं, हम तो कहेंगे बैठे रहो। आप लोगों को जाना है तो फिर
रत्न लुटाए तूने, सौभाग्य जगाए तूने। रत्न लुटाए तूने, सौभाग्य जगाए तूने। ऐसी ज्ञान मुरली सुनाई तूने। नैनों के पलने में जो पालना दी मम्मा, नैनों के पलने में जो पालना दी मम्मा। और दृष्टि से लोरिया सुनाई तूने। Om Shanti. So before we get our homework, I just want to remind tomorrow is Thursday, so we'll be offering Pope together. And also from 5 to 6:10, we'll be having Sakar English Murli. Other schedule will be the same, Amritwala and evening. So now let's get our homework and would like to invite our angel, Sister Elizabeth. We are always keen and looking forward to hear your song and beautiful meditation. So thank you and very, very welcome.
Thank you so much, Bhumi Ben. And thank you so much, Mohini Didi, for really stressing how important it is, of course, without the stress, but really how important it is to keep the mind and the chit clean and clear, and all the different ways that we can do that so that we can increase the power of silence. That is so important. Then everything seems to take care of itself. So today, in the homework, we're going to focus on that catching and touching power. So let's take a look at our homework for tomorrow. Touching and catching powers. The wireless set of silence gives me, the soul, access to touching and catching powers. In silence, the royalty of my purity allows me to hear Bap Dada's directions. So now in the meditative exercise of meditation and melodies, to really exercise by clearing the chit, clearing the mind, and allowing that clarity with Baba to get those indications from Baba and also of our original form invoking us. Om Shanti. In the silence, I, the soul, focus my attention on the power of pure and elevated thoughts. I am with the One Father and none other, and my mind is peaceful. In the stillness, I, the soul, can catch my original sanskars and my original form. I am once again becoming that, and I experience my original divine form as if it were yesterday. This is called catching power. My thoughts are selfless, clean, and pure. With this divine intellect, I, the soul, can experience a pure touching from Baba in everything I do. In the silence, it's just like yesterday. My life was divine and pure. In the silence, it seems a breath away when souls were noble and mature. I walk along with my Father, catching thoughts and touching hearts. It's only you and no other who can teach this magical art. In the silence I hear God talk to me, giving touchings to guide the soul. In the silence I know you're close to me, giving power to control. I walk along with my Father, catching thoughts and touching hearts. It's only you and no other who can teach this magical art. In the silence the world calls out to be free. I catch their sorrows and their pain. In the silence I serve humanity, sending peace that all can attain. I walk along with my Father, catching thoughts and touching hearts. It's only you and no other who can teach this magical art, who can teach this magical art, catching thoughts and touching hearts. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, everyone. Good night, and yes, collect more and more power of silence and prepare your costume of light. Good night, everyone. Om Shanti.